tuning in. Hope you're having a good day. I'm in the lanai. If it's a little, there's a lot going on behind me. I'm in the lanai of my mom's place, we're turning it into a mid-century modern tiki bar. So that will be one of my final projects of being here and spending some time here with her this winter. Hey, Susan. And yes, last time I was on live here, it was right before the full moon. Totally different energy now. We're coming into the new moon. And hey, ladies. And there's a couple things I want to talk about. I want to weave in a few threads you've probably noticed too in the last couple weeks. So the first is that we're in the Pisces season, and something I've been thinking about a lot is how to do our work in the world and how to be really connected to each other without absorbing all of the chaos and all of the pain and all of the story in a way that doesn't allow us to remember who we are and why we're here. And I found, I've been going through the archives of all the writings and stuff I've done over the last 15 years or so. And I found one from 10 years ago, and it was called Be the Rock and Not the Sponge. And it was about this theme I had done in my membership group about how to go through the waters of life when things are just sort of feel like they're just raining down on all of us, and the waves are just hitting, and how not to absorb everything. And at the time it was the beginnings of being as connected as we are now into just how much we're hearing so many stories and how many intimate details of people from around the world all the time, and how beautiful that is to have the opportunity to connect with each other, to know each other, to experience humanity. And then also this way, we're not really set up for that. And throughout your day, you're experiencing, seeing and feeling and witnessing really, really intense and intimate experiences of strangers. And so there was sort of the beginning of how real that was getting, I think about 10 years ago. And so it was how beautiful that is, but also how overwhelming that can be, and how we can start to lose the plot of our own path and why we're here. And so it's funny because when I think about it now, it's not quite being the rock. It's not quite being the sponge, and it's not quite being the rock. It's something in the middle. And I think it's about being able to feel and connect and let things in, and also let things out. So it's not about numbing out and not feeling anything and just sort of rolling along. But it's about learning how to be connected without absorbing every possible detail that is coming our way all day, every day. And really returning to the possibility and the magic and the why that we're here. And it's really been fun to revisit things, revisit kind of cycles and memories. I think there's a really big energetic signature to anniversaries and to dates and to remembering what we were doing at this time, 5 years or 10 years ago. So I've been having, it's been very powerful to revisit and remember things from this time 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I have a lot of big anniversaries in my life around this time. It's also my birthday month. And I think it's important to remember things and bring it into now. And so something I'm seeing a lot of also is that this is the ending for a lot of us. This is the ending of a cycle. And I keep hearing that thread, and I keep seeing it in sessions and even in my own life, this is the closure of a cycle. We're really making sure we received what was important from this last season or these last years or this last decade, and now we're really closing something up. And there is something amazing about realizing there's a last time for everything. There's a last time we do something. There's a last time someone or something is as significant in this lifetime. There's there's just a finality that it's time to come into relationship with. And this is a big year for that. You know, it's the year of the snake. And actually, I just got this deck and I've been working, probably a lot of you know the Kim Krantz like spirit animal deck, and I asked for a card for doing this video and got the cosmic egg, which is actually the final card in the deck, and it represents like the completion and then the opening that comes from completion, and it's obviously like got that snake there too. So this is just like a big year, even though I was kind of curious, like what will that mean for everyone and for each of us personally and individually. This is just a big year for completion. Like we came into that knowing, even just with the numerology, with the astrology, with the Chinese New Year, right? Like that was already there. And I feel like and we're in the final season before the new astrology begins for this year, right? Like this is Pisces, we're coming into completion. And I really see that happening for a lot of people. I see a lot of people realizing like something is meant to be done, whether it's in a relationship or in a business. Yeah, it's such a cool oracle deck. And I just kept hearing that, and I realized like these days right now, the last few days were the last few days I had in person with my brother. Like my final visit with my brother was 6 years ago this week. And I stayed with him for a few weeks. There was like a whole mold problem in my apartment in Venice Beach. He had just moved to Miami Beach. So I came out and helped him. I literally came the day he was moving into his apartment there. And we spent a couple weeks together. And like our mom ended up coming down. And we, had some really special time together and some celebrations together. And actually the last kind of a thing we did together before I got on the plane to LA, and I didn't realize that was the last time I was going to see him in person, was we had our birthday dinner together because we were both Aquarians, and then we had a birthday dinner for a family friend of ours named Mark, and so we all happened to be in Miami, and we had this fun dinner together, and afterwards like Gabe had taken pictures of each of us discreetly, like little portraits of us, and sent it to us. And I've been thinking about that a lot this week because it's interesting. Like I happen to be in Miami Beach right now in the Miami area. And so like I've been spending time in the last physical location of when I was with him. And last night, actually, that family friend happens to be in the area. And so my mom and this friend and I ended up meeting up and going out to dinner. And it's like, it feels like the ending of a cycle, and it felt very interesting that we were all back together in that same configuration. And I was looking at the pictures with the family friend last night that Gabe had taken of us, and that experience and that visit is like a big part of this book I've been working on for 3 years that is now finished and is going to be published next month it'll be physically ready to start sharing with people. And so it just feels like there's this huge beginning and a mystery and a possibility. And there's also this, just sharing my personal story, although I'm hearing so many stories from so many people, like it feels like I'm really in the completion of this family story that began 6 years ago about this time, where I went to visit Gabe. Something was really feeling off energetically and physically. Part of that was the mold. Part of it was being with him. I was really feeling something really deep that was happening. And the last day I was with him, I share about it in the book, but I really got these deep messages from the Akasha that I was about to be tested beyond anything that had ever happened to me, but that I would be held and provided for, as I always have been, I always will be. And like there was nothing to change. There was only like this unknown to accept, but that I had to open to accept that. And now it feels like I've been kind of living in this 6-year cycle of everything that came after this tremendous loss, this tremendous ending for myself and for so many people in my brother's world, because he had a huge world, a huge way he was of deep impact here. And I can't be the rock. We can't be the rock when we have these big endings and completions, especially when they're shocking. But and I also can't be a sponge forever, right? Like that's something I've really been learning too. Like to really let go of needing to complete everything I felt he needed to be able to complete that he didn't get to be him in the world in this way I felt like I needed to be, and to represent him in a way that I needed to for some years. Like it's okay to not be the constant sponge either. And so that feels like this 6-year cycle is really coming to the end, and it really in a way began like this week 6 years ago, with that final visit and this kind of message I was starting to get, and and everything that came since then. And now like the book is coming out, and I'm ready to like not be living inside the family story anymore, and let the story change form. Let the story become something new and change form, and work with the story in a new way, and get ready to move somewhere else. So I wanted to talk a little bit about endings and just connect with the energy around endings. There's a class I did around endings called The Alchemy of the End that I'm going to bring back out for this season, because I think it's such an important time to get comfortable, because we all feel very different ways. Like that could feel empowering or exciting to feel like something we've wanted is finally ending, or something we've wanted, it's finally the final time of circling a certain pattern or a certain issue. And yet at the same time, it can be really scary to let something end even when we think we want it, because our association with endings is scary, mysterious. It brings up grief, which we really weren't taught how to be with until more recently. That's something we're starting to allow. And we're seeing a lot of endings, unceremoniously, unexpected, unwanted endings kind of happening in our world, especially in America, in society, for a lot of people, and for different careers and things like that. So yeah, I wanted to check in with you and see how you're feeling about endings, because part of why we hold back from endings is because we want to know what's going to happen. We want to know if it actually gets better, if we're going to let go of these patterns that maybe are hard, but we figured out how to work with them, or let go of these relationships or jobs that maybe aren't quite it anymore, or have lost resonance for us, or just like are being released, and so something else must be coming. Like it can be really hard to want to do that, because it can feel like, I'll do that when I know how the story ends. I'll do that when I know for sure I like the next thing, or I can handle the next thing, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, if we're not willing to fully receive the ending, then we can't move into the new thing. Hey Vanessa, hey Rochelle. And it's like that's kind of the cost of admission for a beginning, is an ending. And so even though it's, of course, the ideal thing would be that we get to know how it continues and what's going to happen before we're willing to really surrender to an ending, it's just not how it is. And so sometimes we avoid an ending. We're gripping and we're holding on to something, even though we say we don't like it. We're not really letting it be the final time, or we create a false ending. My process with this move was kind of like that. I just kept feeling like, okay, I just have to get through this really hard year of moving out of the house and clearing out the family house and getting my mom to Florida, and then it's done, and then it's the end. And I just kept announcing it was over, and I was traveling for the summer, and then I came back, into the fall, winter, and the truth was that was a false ending. And so I wasn't receiving the things I was expecting to receive. I wasn't seeing the experience I was expecting to see happening for myself and for my family and for this karmic story, because like we actually hadn't fully received the ending yet. There was a whole new layer to participate with and be part of, because I had already agreed to be part of this journey. And so there was another piece to it. And so sometimes we try to say some things over, and yet we're still in the cycle, or we're still not moving forward in the way we think we're going to. So when it comes to endings, they end when they truly end. We have to be willing to be on that journey until it ends, and we have to know that we can't fully know what happens afterwards until we fully receive the end. And that's the mystery. And so learning to love mystery, learning to love the unknown, knowing that our safety comes from inside is how we start to do that. So yeah, let's just take a breath here. Exhaling out. And if you're just joining us, there's a big thread right now around letting it be true that there's an ending coming, and feeling the way there's a finality for each of us in our life right now, where there's a final cycle. There's a final cycle of this version of this way. There's a final round of something in our life. And it takes courage to allow it to be the final way. But if we're constantly feeling like we need one more completion, one more ceremony, one more ritual, if we're constantly feeling like we never got the outcome we thought we were going to get from the effort we put in, if we're constantly feeling scammed, if we're constantly feeling like in between lives, that that could be that it's like time to really receive an ending that's been trying to happen in our life. And so we're just going to drop down here, letting ourselves relax, letting the shoulders relax. And letting yourself, part of what will allow us to naturally flow into this completion cycle that is here for each of us in Pisces season, in this year of the snake, in this 9 year. It's all about completion, shedding, release. I think we talked about this last time, but it's like part of that I'm feeling here is just coming back to your own body, your own breath, and really recognizing that the energy around you is safe. It's safe to let something end. It's safe to let something be over. It's safe to release what is hard or painful or no longer true, but at least familiar. It's safe to release that for a possibility, a future we don't quite know yet. You're safe. Your journey is safe. Your body is safe. The air around you is safe. The location around you is safe. Just really letting yourself relax into a feeling of safety. We're just going to take some breaths here. Beautiful. And then in your mind's eye, you're just going to let yourself see a path beginning to unfold in front of you. And part of the path is really clear. It's kind of the process we're in right now. And then the rest of the path is going to start to like fade into darkness. You can't quite see it yet. And that's okay. That's right. And that's safe. You're not reading from a script. You're not supposed to know everything and anything that's going to happen. It's okay to not know. It's okay to not believe everything that's being predicted. It's okay to come back into your own body and breath and feel the safety. Because the truth is, this is the work that I focus on with people. It's like really coming back into the main themes of your own life, of your soul, of your process, the things that are infinite and forever and always, coming into your heart And then just realizing the outer world, the outer things that we've been told is where safety lives, like health and money and other people's behavior and the environment remaining the way you remembered it being and technology staying a certain way, all these things, that's not where freedom or safety could ever be. It's constantly changing. And so find it internally, get clear on your own, on trusting yourself and your soul's decision to be here, and let the things that are around you when you open your eyes change. It's okay for the vehicles to change. The truth and your own path is going to stay and is always safe. And so just letting yourself feel the outer world outside, closing your eyes if you can, knowing, maybe even feeling how much it's changing moment by moment right now, breath by breath. And now bringing awareness and attention back to your own body, your own heart, your own truth, your soul's decision to come here and be this person and live this life. Just dropping in one level deeper. And then beginning to bring in awareness again to that path, and we're still on the part of the path that's familiar, that you can see. And just letting yourself receive love, gratitude, maybe picturing the people in your life who make you feel really supported, really brave, who remind you of your courage and your capability. Maybe a version of you is there too, and just breathe that in. Letting yourself be filled with all the love and support that actually is around you. And trusting everyone to find their version of that. That even the stories and the things we're seeing that feel so destabilized and unfair, or like all these endings we're seeing that feel like they shouldn't be happening, really trusting each person to find their path, to find their support, that to really respect that everyone is on their own journey, and that we can't possibly understand every detail of every journey that is happening in the world right now. And there's nothing wrong with not being able to understand things that look senseless. But when we absorb that too much, we stop remembering our own soul's journey, and it stops feeling safe, and then we stop wanting to allow the endings and the cycles that really want to complete so we can move into something new. And so as you exhale out here, you can just relax and release and decide to trust that everyone's on their journey, and that you're safe even if you can't figure out what everybody's journey is, or why, or how. You can just send love and relax. And as you exhale, just say, I trust everyone is on their journey. I trust they will find their way and have what they need for their journey in this lifetime. Just take a few more breaths like that, really allowing stress and tension to release from your body. And then sinking one level deeper into your own pelvis, your own body. And just breathing in and letting more of your own energy fill your body, fill your heart. And just breathing in the frequency of I trust where my life is taking me. I trust where my life is taking me. I trust the decision I made to come here. And I'm ready to allow this cycle to be complete. Because I trust where I'm headed. So I don't have to keep walking the labyrinth of something I've already done. It's okay. It's okay for it to be over. It's okay for this to be right. Being right doesn't have to be perfect. This is okay. It's okay for this to be the right way that this cycle ends. And then you're just going to let whatever cycle sort of pops up in your consciousness. I'm ready to end this cycle of. Just let that pop up. And just allowing the relief of knowing like, wow, that's it. This could be the ending of that cycle. It's allowed to end perfectly imperfect. I'm allowed to let go. It's safe for this to no longer be the problem I'm focused on. I'm ready for something new to take up my time and energy in a new way. And so the next couple breaths, just embracing, feeling yourself embrace the energy of whatever cycle you're completing and releasing with gratitude, with forgiveness. And just beginning to see a new path, more of the path being illuminated. Maybe you can see it, maybe it just looks like light. But something new is drawing you. Something new is calling you, and that's why this has to be the final round, the final dance of this version of things. And so now, before we complete, just letting yourself breathe in the energy of the new thing that's calling you. Maybe you can see it, maybe not. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. But there's an energy. Everything is energy first. So just breathe in the energy and let yourself get acquainted with that. Breathe that in. Exhaling out, letting it land in your heart and your chest. And just as we complete, knowing that whatever you have cleared has been cleared and released, and whatever is in its final round for you, this is the right time. This is it. We can trust that. We're coming into the new moon tomorrow, and it's just like coming into the trust. Whatever I feel, whatever ends up being the thing that completes in this profound time of endings, I trust that. It's right. And whatever's calling me and opening, I trust my soul. I trust where my soul is being guided and being called. And we just send love and gratitude to this energy and to everyone who's on their own journey. And this new way of being where we are connected to everyone. And we're also not liberating or supporting people by absorbing everybody's pain. Because it's a journey that is, sometimes we're absorbing things that's from a journey that is not ours. And then we don't know what to do with it, and it paralyzes us. And so there's a new way where we stay connected and we trust the journey. We stay connected and we trust our journey will intersect with liberation and support for other people's journey, and doesn't require us to be the sponge that sucks all the pain up, and it doesn't require us to be a rock that doesn't let anything impact us. We are learning to be somewhere in the middle, and we're on our journey, and we're doing it connected to each other, and we're also doing it connected to the original agreement we made with our own soul. for this life and to have this life. And so just taking a few breaths, letting something land for you from this process. And yeah, we started, now I'm playing, Vanessa, if you're here with these cards, we started with the cosmic egg, which is the final card in the deck, the completion card. And I'll just pull another one to see where we are now from this process. Ooh, an oyster. I don't know what the oyster is about. I'll look it up now. But that's kind of the energy we're ending in. Oh, there it is. Patient, secret keeper, hiding the inner treasures. The focus and determination of an oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve. The only problem is, oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. And this can lead to protecting and withdrawing. When an oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. So the way to be in balance with the energy of oyster, it's like when you're in balance, you feel blessed, generous, and masterful. When out of balance, you feel reluctant, gripping, clams up, and also like that's a bit of, being like, never mind, I feel something calling me, but like I'm just going to stay here and keep working the thing I've been working for a long time instead of letting it come to an end. And so to bring into balance is to share something. So I love that. I think another big part of this completion year and this completion cycle, where we've also come into the age of Aquarius, this 20-year cycle, with the Aquarian energy being such a big part of the cycle, is about our offering at this time. What is our offering to this time? And I think our offering to this time, in order to really be in touch with your offering, you can't constantly be in touch with everything that's wrong. Then it's very hard to feel creative or mobile. So yeah, I love ending with the oyster. What is something special that when you complete this cycle, you can actually begin to share? And maybe that's what that path is that was calling us in that process. If you want to share how you feel like that relates to you in the chat, I'd love to hear it. What I'm just thinking of for myself is just like, as I said, this 6-year cycle of this family story that began kind of this week feels like it's really coming to the end. I'm really in the ending of the cycle. And the thing I'm going to share is the book about this time and about the process I was in. And I wouldn't have been ready to share it until now. And I'm also not, because I had to really be done living the cycle. And I feel like I'm really done with everything I'm coming to the end of everything that this process, required. And it's really going to be a new cycle in my life. And sometimes I think, like, shouldn't that be a 7-year, 6-year, I didn't quite know that. All about relationships. Yes, totally. That's your new thing that you're ready to share and open the oyster on. So yeah, I feel like when we come to the end of a cycle, it's usually can be a very abundant thing when we really let it in because we allow the gift of the ending. Totally. Book tour. Yeah. And a couple people have actually given me that feedback of like, take all the traveling and allow it to be the book tour. And that feels a little oyster. It's like, whoa, like, that's actually what I've always wanted to do with this book. Can I do that with the book? So yeah, this is just like allowing endings to feel really positive and abundant, because when we really allow that cosmic egg and the completion, then it's time to work with the oyster and say like, okay, the thing ended. There's a gift to give from that experience, right? Like that's like the hero's journey. You finally come to the end of the journey with a gift to offer. There's an offering. So I like where we're headed. I felt this energy very strongly in the last few days of just it feeling, hey, Lauren and Corrine, it just has felt like, if you're just joining, we're completing. I've been playing with these, and we did a little process, and it's just like, this is an ending of a cycle period for a lot of us. And this season feels like it will be the final round of something for all of us in different ways. Final round of a certain process or cycle or something taking up a lot of time and energy, because there's something new that's really calling us. And, sometimes we can feel paralyzed when we're absorbing everything that's going on in the world on a really big level. It can feel really hard to feel the fluidity and the movement. You can feel it too. Yeah, it's like so strong. Natural. And actually, Natural, I'll think of you in this process. We're talking about like the ending of a cycle and the gift that's there. So we often know a cycle is completed, truly completed, when there's a gift to give. Just ending. Yeah, there's got, something. And like, I know, you just brought out all of your music, and it's like, you're ready for a new level of your creative expression. And it's like, you're first giving the gift of the cycle you've been in for so many years, and so it can be scary. I know it was scary for you to like actually allow the ending of like, wait, I'm going to share this and this is it. And like, it doesn't need to, this is it. Literally, it doesn't need to be perfect, or produced. No, this is perfect. This is the gift. This is the ending of this cycle. Corrine, it's interesting you're saying that, because I was thinking of that too. Like, we're seeing all of these people who are losing jobs, like, through government jobs, and it's felt very upsetting and sad, and it feels like, wait a minute, these are very important, relevant jobs, and that can make us really want to go inward. It feels so upsetting for people who are losing their work, and it feels like this ending shouldn't be happening. And it's just something that's part of what I was thinking about when we did this process, was like, I can't possibly know every detail of why things are unfolding the way they are right now for every person on this planet. And I have to trust it's not the end of the story. It's not the end of the story for the government. It's not the end of the story for these people in these positions. Like, there's a journey that they were put in position to be part of. And I have to really trust that for them. And I think that for you too. Yeah. I thought I had figured it all out, pushing me to do my own thing, even though I don't feel ready. Well, that's the oyster we were just talking about, right? Like, there's a gift. And so, that's something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, it can feel scary when we're watching other people, and we're so connected to so many people in the way we live right now. But I just, we have to trust everybody is on a journey, and we're on our own journey. And we have to remember, like, leading up to this period of time, we were all really in touch. Many of us were really in touch with the idea of like, this is a very special time of transition on the planet. We all chose to come here right now to be part of a huge transitional time and a big opening on this planet. And the more real all of the endings are getting, and the more real all of the volume being turned up on all the things is getting, it can be really hard to remember that. And this is a moment to just come back into the inner safety and the inner trust and the inner remembrance. And sometimes, I've found it really helpful to revisit some of my old writings and my old work and connect with people from years ago, of just like remembering when I started the cycle that I'm ending right now, and all the possibility and all the things that did happen. So it might be helpful too, to just maybe connect with some people that you started this cycle with, that you started the idea for your own thing with, remembering who you were when you were beginning the process to have the business you want to start. All right, well, that was great. Love connecting with everyone. Let's just tune in. Is there anything else? No, just like, really, if you're the thing I really feel is like, if you can feel this is the final round of something right now, or something is ending, to just really trust that. Really trust that if the ending is coming, there really is something new that's calling us. And this is an ending year. So there's nothing wrong if things are ending, even if you didn't think you chose it. Like, the year is vibrating to the endings. That is the vibration of this year. It's being measured in every possible way we can measure time. We were given that message that this is a year about endings, and so now we're really in it. So just letting the endings that are happening happen, and there's just something really beautiful and tender about knowing it's the last time we're doing something, and allowing for more gratitude when we realize that, allowing for more appreciation. So, all right, well, we'll talk again soon. Great to see you all here. And if that's something you want to work on more deeply, I'm going to be doing another Alchemy of an End class. And I'm also available to work with privately on specific transitions that are happening in your life. So thank you for being here, and we'll talk soon. Bye.